And we are live. What's going on, YouTube? This is Luke with Endless Entrepreneurs, just coming to you with my typical Sunday shipping vlog. Today's topic is going to revolve around returns on eBay. And while I'm working or waiting for people to filter in here, I will go through my typical cadence of going through what sold this weekend, making sure that giving you guys some value up front on kind of what's going on in my business, what items are moving for me, what items aren't. And hopefully just cover the positive momentum that's been happening this last weekend or so, moving into March, which is just around the corner. If you are new to my channel, I am a part-time eBay reseller and a full-time commercial finance analyst. I work in the corporate world. I'm not sure for how long I will be, but for right now, I enjoy doing both, and it's a really nice balance in my life. And waiting for people to fill in here. I got 3 people watching. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump right into my items because I kind of like to get to the point. I don't want to waste a lot of time and waste other people's time. So if someone in the chat can let me know that my audio is fine. It looks to be, but just to confirm would be cool. First item that sold this weekend, this is on Friday, and this was new with tags, Joseph A. Bank. They're dress pants, like a brown blend plaid. They're a wool blend. Picked them up for $4 and they sold for $24. Took a best offer. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Phil. Appreciate everyone tuning in right now. I'm going to try to get to the items as quick as I can today because I think that this topic is going to be a lively one. I woke up yesterday morning to a return that frustrated me, so figured it was a good time to talk about that this weekend. And I don't get frustrated very often about returns. In the chat, guys, while I'm going through, let me know how your weekends are going. Are your sales doing well? I've definitely seen a jump this last probably 4 days. I think I'm starting to see kind of coming out of the lull of January, February. So looking forward to some hopefully higher trajectories in March. But this is, I know you can't see because of plastic, but you can see the pattern. And it is a Ralph Lauren sports coat. It's the Ralph Lauren line. This is has like 5% cashmere, 95% wool. It was like a 40, I think it was 46 or 48 regular. And took a best offer of $35 for this. I usually sell these between like $35 and $50. It just seems to be kind of the sweet spot for them. I get them for $5 and I ship them for about $6. This was cool. So a couple weeks ago when I had off between my jobs, I went to the bins with Jason and Corinne. It was a really cool experience. It was like my first time at kind of a cleaner bins. I've been to a couple that were rough, but this one is brand new here in Charlotte, so it's not too bad to navigate. And these were, I think I can show you. You can see the word Dry Joys right there. So these are black, they're golf pants, and they're FootJoy Dry Joys. And these are actually very, very desirable. If you find any of the Dry Joys golf equipment, as long as, I mean, even with minor flaws, it's still very sellable. Got these, I mean, they were probably $1 weighing at them, and they took a best offer of $36 yesterday for them. So really good flip there. And I probably could have got 45 if I held out, but I mean, that's a good enough margin for me to move them. This, you guys know I love to sell suits if you watch. This was a Hugo Boss. It's just like a plain gray, nothing special, but 2-piece suit. It was all wool. It's 3-button, which is a little less desirable, but I had this up for a week and it sold for $80. Took a best offer. I was on sale for like $89.99, so I took a best offer $80. So it's probably going to cost me $10 to $13 to ship based on where they are in the country. This is a American Eagle. This is one of the only American Eagle, and you can see the label, types of items I like to sell, and it's a pearl snap vintage fit. I picked these up for $4. This one sold for full price, $23.99 that I asked. Usually they sell for right around $19.99 when I have them on sale. This is new with tags. Banana Republic. These are a vintage straight. They're just basic dress pants. Nothing too crazy. We have an outlet around here, so I find a lot of new with tags, Banana Republic stuff. Took best offer for $20. They're up for like a week. In them for $4. And just shout some people out. Hi Eddie. Hi Lubeno. Thanks for joining. For all the way from Slovakia. Very cool. I appreciate you guys joining in. So we got 16 watching live. If anyone's had any unique sales this weekend, put them in the chat. See, I like to learn about some of the newer brands and things. I sell kind of that specific niche, so I know a lot of you guys sell their stuff. Feel free to drop those in the chat below. This was another find. If you're watching my haul videos, this is a FootJoy, and it's like an Argyle full zip. It's a wool blend. but it's also weatherized, so like it has an inside lining that's waterproof. Sold this for $34.99, and it had flaws all over. It had like little holes that were worn away in it, and still sold for $35. Hi, Janet. Thanks for joining. If any of you saw my tie video that I put up yesterday on how to sell ties, I had a viewer request that. I actually had 2 sales for this weekend of ties. The first was a Salvatore Ferragamo, and I think this is an absolutely hideous tie, but I've had it for probably 6 months. I sold it for $18 on Friday night, so I was okay to move that. I get ties for $2. A new with tags. It's Saks Fifth Avenue, and it has, you can see the retail on it, it's $128. I sold it for I think 13 or 14 bucks today. These new tags ties just don't necessarily hold their retail value at all. I mean, this is super inflated, and especially like a Saks Fifth Avenue, which is found in a lot of like the Marshalls and different things like that. But either way, in it for 2, flip it for 14. It'll ship really cheaply. So sold quite a few pair of jeans here. I've been really starting to hit the jackpot with jeans lately. I sold these. These are BKE. I think these are the Seth Fit line. These are men's, and these are Selvage, black Selvage BKE. Each sold one for 44 and one for 47, and both of those for $5, guys. Ryan Thomas, how you doing? He's got a question. I am totally new. What do you mean that you picked your items up at the bins? Is that the name of the place you get your items at? Good question. So, and I actually didn't know this for quite a while watching YouTube videos. So they have what they call outlet stores, and they call them the bins because they keep all the clothes in these huge blue rollout bins that they change, and you pay by the pound versus going into like a retail store that most people are used to, where you pull them off the rack, they're organized. The bins is just everything's in one bin. It's not organized. You got to sift through it. It's kind of more of an outlet free for all. So hopefully that answers your question. Hi, R. Warren. Thanks for stopping in. We got 26 people watching live. I really appreciate everyone here. I'm looking forward to this conversation about returns because it was something that a little frustrated me yesterday. So it'll be nice to chat with you guys and get your feedback. This was another item. Let's keep rolling. So this is a 550 line Levi's, and these are black. They're all black. I sold them for $24. In it for $5. And then this, if anyone watched my haul, I think it was Thursday, I found this new brand called Bonobos. And I guess someone said that it's actually the name for an ape, which I didn't know. But I found a shirt and dress pants. And so these are like a brown Glen plaid. And I wasn't sure if they were going to sell it out. The comps look good, but I just had never seen it. It says made in China, which always I'm kind of like, some of that stuff sells fine, some of it doesn't. But these already sold for $24. And I probably could have got more, it's looking like, and I already have offers on the dress shirt that's up. So Bonobos, it's called Bonobos. Keep your eyes peeled. That might be a new brand on, on the horizon here. All right. And hi, Dem Girl. Appreciate you stopping in. Hi, Mandy. Oh, you're on the same type of journey. We're hustling mostly part-time while working full-time, so I can relate. Good luck. All right, so there's another one. Masters are on the corner, guys. Here's your Masters logo. I don't know if you can see. This is the Masters collection. I can't see it very well, sorry. But these sold for $18.99, just a basic cotton polo. And this is one of my older items. I have tape. I always say, guys, I have this tape on here. Don't mark your inventory this way. Use the poly bags or hang it or do something. It leaves residue a lot of times. Luckily, this one doesn't. But this is Billy Reed, and I'm kind of curious if anyone sold this before. So all the comps look amazing. I have picked up like 6 or 7 of these shirts. This is the first one I've sold. I ended up taking the best off for $19. The comps look way higher, so I don't know if I'm just something's wrong with my listings or what. But either way, I sold it. It's still a decent profit. Hi, Billy. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate the kind words there. I also started watching Rakin, so yeah, I can appreciate what he's done for the community, and I'm glad that you're enjoying my videos. And you're asking for a video on photography, different types of clothing, and on identifying pattern. That's a great question, and I have that written down. I think I'm going to start with patterns for blazers and sport coats first, and then do kind of move into dress shirts. So in the next couple weeks, keep your eyes peeled. I'll be coming out with something like that. All right, this is Armani Exchange, and this is a pretty unique. It's like a flannel, like red lines shirt. It's gray. Took a best offer for $19.99. I was in it for $4. Some of that stuff moves well, some of it doesn't. It's kind of hit or miss. This was another haul video I had. It is a new with tags Polo Ralph Lauren. $9.50. I got $30 for it. That's probably the high end of what you can get nowadays. It's so saturated from people flipping them from Marshalls and TJ Maxx and stuff like that. The new with tags market for Polo Ralph Lauren definitely has gone down, which is just the way it works. But there's still money to be made. I picked it up for $4. This is a lot of people pass on these. I end up picking them up. I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting the tape off here. This is Chaps, which is like a Macy's mall type brand. And it's definitely not a high-end one, so you got Chaps. But it's new with tags. I get them for $4, and this sold for $19.99. And that's about the price point I get. Anywhere from like $16 to $22 I can get for them, depending on the models. And to me, that's a decent flip. They're easy to list because they're new with tags. There's not a lot of nuances to them, so I always grab them. This is more of a unique item. Oh, and let me answer. So Paul Garcia said, would you recommend setting up an eBay store? Also, is there a need to set up as a business with the state? I have a regular eBay account, but want to do primarily clothing. So I would recommend this store when you get to about 100 items. I think it becomes worth it. I do have a video on store subscriptions out. Check it out. It gives you kind of the thresholds of when you get to X amount of items, you should upgrade to this store. Definitely looked it up. It's pretty detailed. Should answer your question. As far as the state, it is state by state. I'm registered with the state. I pay sales tax to the state. Charge sales tax. I just pay it quarterly whenever it's due, based on anyone I sold to in my state. That's all I have to pay it for. So I'm not a tax expert. So that's how I handle it. I definitely suggest you consult a tax expert. But this is cool. This is a Nomar Garcia Parra for any baseball fans. It's a Georgia Tech jersey. I got it in one of those local Facebook groups. I bought a huge jersey lot back in the fall. So I've still been selling a lot of these off. Sold it for $34.99. It cost me $12 or $12.50, I think it was. But decent flip there. And I've sold a lot of the other higher end ones for $60, $70, $80. So I've more than made my money back. It's all gravy right now with that purchase. All right, got a couple more items here, guys. I'm gonna try to speed through them so we can get to spend 15 solid minutes on the topic. So this is another one of those jerseys. It's a Reggie Bush for any football fans. Number 25 when he played for the Saints. Sold it for $32. Same purchase price as Nomar Garcia Parra. We've got a Levi's. This is a Pearl Snap. I'm not sure if you can see the buttons or not. Pearl Snap, sold it for $21.99. And I usually get between 17 and like 23 for those. Here's another new with tags, Van Heusen, similar to the Chaps. Sold this for $19.99 and it for $4. All right. Let me answer another question here. Lubano said, I am new to eBay reseller. Thrift stores are very cheap in Slovakia. So I can get stuff even for 30 cents a piece. Wow. How long did it take for the sales to come when you started? It took a while. I mean, I slowly built up. Once I got to a couple hundred items, I started getting steady sales each week. And then probably about 1,000, I was getting steady, probably like 600, 700, I was getting steady sales each day. So this is the Lacoste polo that I sold, just a lime green. Sold it for $19.99. That's $19.99 to like $24 is usually the price I get for those. This is a hideous Hugo Boss metallic striped shirt. I've had it for over a year. I took a best offer of $16 just to move it. Still made money on it, but I don't know, it wasn't desirable. This is a Harley Davidson. Oh, let me get the tape off here, guys. Sorry again. It's a Harley Davidson red stripe, just a really basic shirt with an embroidery on it. And so I took offer of $24 for it. To move it, here's your tag. I pick up pretty much everything Harley Davidson I find as long as it's in decent condition. Your red striped shirt. So a decent flip there. Was in it for $4. And here is another Hugo Boss. It's a black short sleeve button front shirt. Sold that for $20 as well. And we got 3 more items, guys, and then we'll jump into the topic and some Q&A here. So this is it's a Wrangler, I believe Wrangler, George Strait Troubadour pearl snap shirt. It's got like the diamond pearl snaps on it, and I probably could have got more. I sold it for $17.99. I was having a slow sales day to start Friday, and so I can't jump the gun on it, but it's cool. And then we've got a Gitman Bros. Sold this for $19.99. This brand I found, I used to be able to sell it for like low 30s, high 20s. It's just been kind of coming down in value, which is, it's just, you got to adjust. But so decent flip there. And then very last one, guys, and we'll jump into the chat. New with tags, Armani Exchange, hideously striped shirt. It's a double XL. I've had this since the fall, and it sold today actually for $39.99. So I was in it for $4. So that was my weekend of sales. It's been pretty good. I sold $350 worth of stuff yesterday, so finally picking up. Going to be very close, down to the wire. This might be my best month ever. Although I've had a big spike of returns, it's been higher than I've ever had before. Thus the topic for today. And hi Carlos, hi No TV. Thanks for stopping in. Hi Thelma. I'm going to answer a couple of these questions and jump on the topic. Thelma said, I'm interested in what you know about the latest and listing apps for future video. Okay, yeah, I will talk about that. I haven't experimented with any, but I plan to here near in the future. And Carlos said, I've been watching your videos and really enjoyed them. Keep it up. I appreciate that, Carlos. Thank you very much. Love hearing the comments. It's definitely encouraging to keep putting out some content for sure. So let me jump in real quick. I woke up yesterday morning to a return on a Levi's Pearl Snap. It was a gray, like slate gray cotton shirt. Took a bus off for 17 bucks. Normally, this is my philosophy on returns. It's a part of doing business. I just accept them, no questions asked, process them, go with them. No big deal. You know, I have it set up, the buyer pays the shipping because 99% of the time it's just, it doesn't fit or something like that. They send it back. No big deal. Other times there's a flaw that I missed. They send me a picture, whatever. I just reimburse them fully and I let them keep the item. So that's how I handle any flaws that I overlooked. If that happens, I don't try to argue or like, if I think they're extorting me, then I'll make them send it back. But that, I think that's only happened once, and it was a high-end suit. Like, it just doesn't happen. Like, usually it's I missed a hole on something, I missed an alteration on something. They want the return. It's not worth my time to process it, have them ship it, all those things. I just reimburse them the full amount, tell them to keep it, say, you know, really sorry for the trouble. I get positive feedback every single time I do that. They're always super appreciative. I respond right away. I'm like, here you go. Like, it's just cost of doing business, no big deal. The other situation is they ship them to me, right? I refund them when I receive it. They pay the shipping, no big deal. I relist it on my business. I go, I lost my shipping on the front end because I paid free shipping. So I ate $3 to $5. It's just another cost of doing business. But this one, they made the return, and in the comments they specifically put, item not as described, pit to pit measurement was 21 inches, not 22. Doesn't fit like a medium. So my first issue, like I wake up and I was kind of groggy, so a little ticked off, and I'm like, all right, a medium has a range, like a pit-to-pit measurement's like a range like 21 to 23-ish, something like that. You can make a 21 look like a 23 by stretching the fabric any way you want, or vice versa, not stretching it, not laying it flat. I mean, that's such a subjective, I mean, it's a guideline. So I'm like, whatever, I go to accept the return. Then I realized I have to pay the shipping because he put an item not as described, which totally didn't register at first. So it's an experience with a buyer who knows the eBay system, knows how to get that, knows how to make sure that he's not paying the shipping, and knows that probably in half of his experience, especially buying items like that, I bet you the seller just reimburses him. So he gets to keep the item, and he gets the item for free just by doing this little stupid complaint. So part of me was like morally, I wanted to fight this and whatever. And then I just, after I started to wake up, I'm like, again, this is the cost of doing business on eBay. It's the cost of being a seller. I refunded him. He keeps it. I went on my day. But I wanted to bring up the topic to you guys just because I think that a lot of the comments I get, especially how do you handle returns, things like that, it's all a mindset. And that's what I realized yesterday is it is completely a mindset in whether you let returns affect you or not. So for me, when I started thinking about it at a high level, how I've always approached it is I have about 3% returns. Like if I average it out for a full year, about 3% of my total gross sales, I have 3% in returns. And that's just the cost of doing business. And on the surface, that might be like, okay, well, that's still quite a bit. You know, if I do $100,000 in sales this year, like I'm planning, that's $3,000 of returns. Like that sucks. But then I've been reading articles and thinking about like retail, you know, online retail especially. Online retail for clothing, they experience 30 to 40% returns. In peak seasons, it's near 40, and in lull seasons, it's in like low 30s, high 20s. So think about that. They're selling new with tag stuff, and they're eating it over and over and over. And a lot of them offer free shipping on half of their stuff, and then they have to pay the shipping on their returns. So the fact that I have 3% versus the online retailer who has 30%, it's like okay, like that's not as big of a deal as I thought. And I just have to keep in my head, like when I sell $6,000 a month, I need to know that I'm probably 3% of that's going to be returns. Like that's just the way it is. And some months it might be 6 or 7%. And so the example I want to give is, so January, I had 2 returns total for the month. It was amazing. I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. And then February was like they all rolled in all at once. And so I have nine returns for $236. And I didn't do the calculation, but let me do it real quick. I'm at about $5,400 in sales right now. So 236, 54. Spike, I'm at like 4.5% for returns in sales dollars. So it's not that big of a deal, even though I was upset about it and it seems like a lot. So just keep in mind, guys, as resellers, like build into your mindset, your model, your business, that you are going to have X percentage that you can't count on for sales. And that means you need to keep it in your PayPal account too. I think that's the other thing, the other connector that people are missing out is when you have fees at the end of the month for eBay and you're going to have returns, you can't just empty your PayPal all the time into future capital to increase. You can't empty it out to pay your bills necessarily. You need to keep a buffer of margin in your PayPal to account for when those things happen. So enough of my rambling. That's just like, that's my general thoughts. I wanted to get it out there and tell you guys how I felt about it and hope that it helps you kind of rationalize and put in perspective what returns mean for you as a business, what you should expect, and kind of how you should handle them. Because it's just not worth the negative feedback, and it's not worth the argument and the stress in your life trying to fight them. Just accept them and move on. It's the cost of doing business. So I'm going to jump. I've seen a ton of questions here. I'm going to jump in back up here and try to answer as many as I can. I did see. All right. Question: have you ever had complaints about coats, your coats being wrinkled? And so I'm going to assume from coats, and this is from Carlos. I'm going to assume that you mean sport coats, those type of things. I have not had complaints. I've had one, actually. I've had one, and all the ones that sold hundreds and hundreds, and they just were surprised that it was in a flat rate envelope. And when I explained to them that we operate in the assumption that you're going to dry clean your item, and that this is the best way for us to offer the most competitive price to you as a buyer is to minimize the shipping costs, then you're totally fine with it, and there's no big deal. So that's the only one I've even had question in. Let's see. Actually, plus I had 3 scammer non-pairs this month. Yeah, and non-pairs is just, again, that's a whole other topic with best offer, but again, that's just a part of doing business. I think you have to take the same mindset to the non-pairs for best offers as you would for returns. Oh, you had a buyer. Someone just said, let's see who said that. Oh, actually said again, just had a buyer say they will pay upon receiving the item. Okay, never, ever, ever do that, guys. Don't ever ship the item. They need to pay up front. eBay will side with you and agree with you. They will protect you if they make them pay up front. Don't ever deviate from that process. No TV has a question. He said, is listing more than 300 items the only sure way to get sales? I have 100 and don't see too many sales. So that's an equation, right? It comes down to math. The equation comes down to what items do I currently have active and how many new ones am I putting into that ecosystem. So for me, I have a base of 1,500 items right now, and I'm putting 350 new ones every month in there. So that's continually growing and adding new fresh listings. So when you factor that, that's why I can get 6, 7 sales a day sometimes 10, 11, is because I have a big base. My general rule that I've seen is for every 100 listings you have up, if they're competitively, decently priced, and they're good, pickups, you can expect to sell 10 of those a month. So and that's not a hard, fast rule, but it's a pretty good, over the last couple of years I've seen, it's a pretty good rule of thumb. I mean, I have 1,500 items up. I'm selling about 200 items, 220 items a month. So you're looking at, that's about what, 12 or 13, I think, for every 100 items listed. But either way, so if you estimate 10, especially the newer sell, I think that's pretty decent. Benny asked, do you pay for returns or does the seller pay? So the way I have it set up, and I'm not sure all the different options, I haven't explored them, but the buyer pays the shipping on the return. That's how I have it. So basically, they need to go through the trouble of it, which also gives you some wiggle room, guys, when they do request a return. If it's just like a, hey, not what I expected, or like it's not a size issue, you always can say, would you be willing to accept a 50% refund, because you're going to have to go through the trouble of going to the post office, packaging it, and paying for that shipping. And a lot of times they'll take that. So you're still making money hedging, whatever you can by offering that. I do that quite frequently, and it works. The only time I reimburse fully is if there was something that I screwed up on. Let's see. Never do partial refunds. I disagree. I do partial refunds quite a bit. I mean, why not hedge that down a bit from what you're dealing with? Let's see. Eddie Will said, keep in mind the average seller sells at 1.33 as long as you list. Oh, you're saying, Eddie, are you talking about sell-through? Yeah, my sell-through is actually probably lower than most people. So my sell-through is like at 0.6, like almost 0.5% per day. That's because I price higher. I price all my inventory in that upper 75 to 100% of the market because I would rather scale that way since I'm a part-time reseller. So if you competitively price your stuff, you're absolutely right, Eddie. You definitely can up your sell-through rate. Your margins are going to go down. Your profit's going to go down, but you can get that higher. And you have to be careful when you say 1.33 because I think you have to pick what model you're describing, because there are lots of fast flip sellers who will do auctions and auction off almost all their inventory, and they have very high sell-through, or some that sell for just double their money, and it works great for them. But just that sell-through can be deceiving because it needs to match whatever your model is. I would say most fixed price, medium length flip sellers are, I would say like 0.75 to 1.5 is probably, what you're looking at. Hi, Alfred. And hey, we got 38 people watching. That's the highest I've ever had watching live. I really appreciate it. Definitely hit that like button if this is helpful to you guys. And just definitely keep throwing comments my way and questions, because to me, this is an interesting topic. And I think the mindset of returns and how you handle them, the mindset of non-payers, or best offers, all that stuff ties into your mindset about your business and like how you treat it and how you work at it. And if you're able to emotionally take yourself out and say, I need to put in X effort this month, these are the 3 things that are probably going to go wrong. These are the 97 things that are going to go right, and this is going to be my expected output. It's much easier to handle those one-by-one situations, because now you're looking at the hundreds of them instead of just the couple that are bothering you. And then you're looking at the hundreds of ones that are going right. I'm looking at all the times I make sales that go perfect, and it's amazing. And when you focus on that good stuff, there's little nuances of returns and crap like that, just doesn't bother you as much. Drummer just asked, how often are you doing sales? So I'm not sure the specific nature of that question, but to answer it the best that I can, I sell between 200 to 225 items a month right now. And I've been right around that 6K mark gross sales per month. Miami Reseller asked, did you purchase your mannequin on eBay? Yes, I purchased it many years ago on eBay. A lot of people ask for links. I just haven't bought a lot of that stuff in so long that the best thing I can say is search for a form mannequin on eBay, sort by best price first, and purchase that way just to save yourself some money and make sure you're getting the best deal, because the vendor I used 2 years ago might not even be in business, or they might have something that's a lot more expensive nowadays. And Alfred Frank asked, sorry I missed that, but what is your return rate for sports coats, blazers, and suits? I actually don't keep track of specific category, like the rate for them, just because there's so few. I mean, I've had 11, February 26th, and I've had 11 returns on 400 plus sales. So to me, it's just more of like a big bucket of that. Let me see. Fashion Outlook said, how many hours do you put in your eBay business? So I put in at least 30 hours a week, usually closer to 40. I wake up, for those of you who haven't seen some of my other videos, I'm up Monday through Friday between 4 and 4:30 a.m. The only time I'm not is if I have a late basketball game. I play in a couple adult leagues. If I have a late night game and I'm not getting home to 11, I'll sleep until 5:30 just to not get run down. Put a lot of hours in my business with the goal of, being in a position at the end of this year financially, to just make whatever choices I want, really, is kind of where I'm at. So if you want success and you want results, you got to put in the work. There's just no way around it. Lubano said, question, do you have any advice on how to make a watcher who's been watching your listing for a while buy the item? So that's a good question. I don't pay attention to the analytics as much as maybe I should. And that's only because I'm more of a long tail seller. I don't care about the item moving quickly. I just price it where I know it'll sell and what it's worth, and I just wait as long as it takes. So I don't actually look at watchers or viewers or a lot of that stuff that other people do. So I don't have a lot of good advice for you. I wish I did. That's not a part of my model of how I approach my business. Mark Pearson said, don't let the possibility of returns stop you from selling on eBay. eBay makes it super easy. Yeah, and that's a great point, Mark. I totally echo that. Don't let the paralysis or the worry of how to handle a return stop you from selling. Like, just do it. Like, and just budget into, when you first start off, if you're worried about it, then just factor 10% of all the sales I make might be returns. I'm going to keep that money set aside just in case. Like, you'll still make lots of money even doing that, and that's probably a way conservative measure. Billy Woodard said, have you considered any other categories, video games, electronics? So I started in video games, electronics, garage selling when I was like 18. The market, it's just not as fun for me, which sounds super weird. I don't know why clothing has been such my niche now, but it's just, there's no competition, I guess, which sounds bad. Like, there are lots of sellers of clothing sellers here, but there's just so much supply that I don't have to compete, right? There's enough to go around for everyone. Whereas video games and stuff, I feel like there's a lot of people out there scanning for FBA. Oh, there's Thor. Sorry about that. There's a lot of people who are going to these garage sales first thing early, so you're competing for a lot of those categories. I am starting to expand to women's clothing more, and actually Shannon's been thrifting me this last week, and she started her own eBay, so to speak, on her own. So she's selling women's clothing on her own. It's pretty exciting for her. I'm learning tons because I don't know anything about women's clothing. I know about women's jeans. That's the only thing I've started to learn about. So it's pretty interesting. I'm kind of excited to see how her store goes and kind of how her momentum goes. I think I'll be able to answer you guys' questions a lot more for newer sellers based on how quickly her sales pick up with going back to 20. I think she has 20 items listed right now. So seeing that, I think I should answer your questions better watching that. Benny said, do you have eat shit for 2 years and do what you can? Eat K by the rest of your life. Yeah, Benny, that sounds a little bit like Gary Vee. He's one of the guys I watch a lot. I mean, it's put in the work and you got the rewards later. Philip Murray says, run sales on items with lots of watchers and eBay will send them emails with a lower price. That's a very good suggestion, Philip. And I don't, like I said, I don't watch the viewers and watchers, but that makes a lot of sense. If you run some bigger sales on those, it'll help move the items. So thanks for that. Drummer said, will you ever charge for shipping in the future, or do you factor in your listing price? So I am going to start charging shipping on my shoes. Tino, the Soul Advisor, he's got a YouTube channel. I have really started to adopt his model of shoes. He sells shoes full time. He knows way more than I do. And it's just going to be easier because I'm on the East Coast. It'll help heads when I have to ship shoes to the West Coast. And I don't feel comfortable putting them on flat rates a lot of times because they're higher end, dress shoes. So they have to go in a box. So I am going to start doing calculated shipping for shoes only. Let me see. Eddie says I sell more women's clothing. Yeah, and there's probably a ton more in the market for women's clothing too. R1 said, would you share her eBay? Yeah, and actually, guys, she's starting a YouTube channel. She's been watching me record videos for a couple months now, and she basically said, I'm probably a lot easier on the eyes and probably talk a little better than you, so I probably could help newer sellers a little better than you. So I didn't take offense to that. It's true. She's starting a channel, and I believe it's called Shannon M. I think. Shannon, are you downstairs? No, I think she's outside. Sorry. I will put the link in here for her channel if anyone wants to check it out. She's just starting out, so it's really interesting because all the questions she's asking are a lot of questions I don't think about because I've been doing it so long. And so she's been talking about that and just kind of tracking the progress of through that. So I will share that, and I'll share her eBay name as well in the link. No TV says, question, how does eBay listings work, where you're located, and who gets top listing? I guess I don't understand the question. Can you clarify that? I don't quite understand the question. I'm sorry. Mandy Dalkin said, how do you cope with little sleep? So that's a really good question. I totally believe that everyone's bodies are just differently to sleep. I don't think it's possible for everyone to go on as little sleep as I do. I think that it's possible to push your limits, and you need to be careful of your body and your health. And that's why, I mean, thank goodness I live with Shannon, and she's engaged to her, and she's obsessed with fitness because she kind of keeps my head on straight and makes sure that I'm focused on that. Fitness for me has been the single answer for why I'm able to do what I do, because that extra outburst of workout and the foods I eat give me extra energy on the back end. So that's probably the best way I can say it. And also when Saturday, Sunday come, Andy, I sleep in. Like, I go to bed at 10 and I wake up at 8. So I'm getting like 10 hours of sleep on a Saturday and a Sunday. And then I'm refreshed to do it during the week. So Benny asked where I live. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I used to live in upstate New York. Thank goodness I'm down here in the sunny Charlotte area. Oh, Benny said, yeah, you watch Grant Cardone as well? Yeah, I watched Grant a bit. I like how extreme he is. We all have, I don't know, like I like bits and pieces of all the personalities out there. I feel like you can really gravitate and grab things to help with your business for sure. No TV said, when you put your listings on, who gets their listings to be the first 10 ones? If the listing sits for a while, should I repost it or just wait? I really don't know the answer to that, No TV. I know that the algorithm, I mean, that's if someone knew that, then they would master the listing process. But that's eBay's algorithm. That's obviously they protect and don't share completely. I would say that having key indicators like free shipping, 30-day returns, having one business day handling time, all increases your search parameters. Making sure your keywords make sense, they're not fluff, they're straight to the point, that you fill out your subcategories. All those things get you higher in the search engine. Fashion Outlook said, do you get nosy questions from Goodwill employees about them asking if you're a reseller? I get a lot, and it's annoying. That's funny. So down here, surprisingly not. You know what happens to me more than anything is they go, you know these are really big, right? These aren't going to fit you. You know these are women's jeans, right? It's like, yeah, they're not for me. That's usually my standard response. I've had a couple where I come with a cart full of 50 things, and it's just massive. And they're like, what are you doing? And I'll just say, I sell these on eBay. And like, oh, okay. But I haven't had any hassles, actually. They're normally pretty cool about it. And down here, they just get so much inventory. I think they're just thankful to move it because they have so much in the back they're trying to get out, and the racks are so full packed. So I don't think anyone has any problem down here. Sorry that you get a hassle about that. That's rough. But actually, Shannon is walking. Shannon, what's the name of your channel? Yeah, on YouTube. Shannon M. Yes, I was correct. So Shannon M. So if anyone wants to see a new seller, specifically in women's clothing, I think that's where she'll add a little bit of value that I can't. She's learning all about the women's clothing and how it sells, and just really starting her eBay store from start to finish. She put up 20 listings this weekend by herself. I didn't give her any help except for telling her what measurements to take and how to take pictures. So I think that'll be helpful to you guys too for questions that I can answer, especially. Benny said, do you both women and men's clothing? I do 95% men's, and I do women's jeans. I don't think that I'm going to cross over past there. Maybe some women's shoes that are high end. I found a couple pair. For me, there's just so much men's stuff that I would be in the store all day. Like I spend an hour as it is right now going through all the categories. So men's clothing, I'm finding easily 350 items a month for me to list. I don't think it's worth it for me to spend my time researching past that. I'd rather just get deeper into the categories I know so that I keep expanding that brand knowledge. You should start buying bras by yourself, Billy Wood said. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Although I do know there's some big money in those. There's some really big money in those I've been hearing. So, but anyways, I'm about 10 minutes over my normal time, guys. I love this. I could answer questions all day. We got 30 viewers right now. I appreciate everyone watching. Hopefully this was helpful. And just kind of that mindset of how to handle returns. You know, it's a cost of doing business. That's the best way I can summarize it. You just have to expect it and not get upset about it and just move on. That's what I highly, highly recommend. And I don't actually just asked, do you have a shipping and packing video? I have a couple for like blazers and stuff. I haven't done a specific one. I plan to here in the future do one of kind of like all my shipping supplies I use, how I pack stuff, that sort of thing. So I'll be on the lookout the next couple of weeks. I'll have something like that. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, guys. I hope your weeks go awesome. I hope your February wraps up great, and hope that you guys are just crushing those goals. So like, comment, subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon.